All right, guys, it seems like things are moving on the Nintendo Switch successor front, video games, RPGs, and more. We've got a bunch of big information, and something that I felt wasn't going to happen seems to be happening based off of Square Enix doing what they said they were going to do and aggressively pursue multi-platform after a complete structure rechange at the company. But before we get into any of that and so much more, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch and RPG videos first. And let's go ahead and jump right into it because we've got someone that is a good friend of the channel and, of course, someone that I know very well, and that is Mr. NateDrake. Bit of an insider or so. He's been able to give us accurate information in the past about a variety of different games and topics, and he was on ResetEra talking about something that I felt couldn't happen. I actually just got asked this the other day from a user on my live stream, but it looks like it's going to happen with Final Fantasy 16. So on ResetEra, there was someone that stated this: if more Xbox games are going over, I think it's only fair Final Fantasy comes back in. I've already played them on PS5, but it's not fair when Xbox is losing exclusives and all the fans want in return is FF16. So let me just go ahead and just say this real quick before we get into the actual rest of what Mr. NateDrake said. That was the quote tweet that Nate did. It was from another user. Then he responds, but it's not about being fair. Like, the gaming industry isn't fair. There's so much stuff that isn't, guys. So just keep that in mind. It's a business. It's not supposed to be fair in every single aspect. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there. But anyway, NateDrake had this to say in response to that comment. He quoted it and said, FF16 on Xbox is going to happen. Just waiting for Square to announce it. So that right there tells me that Final Fantasy 16 is possible on other platforms outside of PlayStation, which I didn't know if it would be. Now, I know that Square Enix said that, hey, we want to aggressively pursue multi-platform, but we don't know the deals that they have set up with Sony. We don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know if that's going to hold true for the longest amount of time or years or whatever the case is, right? We thought that we'd see Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox years ago, and it still hasn't happened yet. So if this is going to be happening, or if there's already a deal set in place, that absolutely tells me that they're probably going to do on the successor to the Nintendo Switch as well, or at least they're going to try. Maybe there's going to be some rumors, something's going to happen on that front, because it looks like Sony does not have an ironclad or foolproof exclusivity deal with FF16 if we're already getting some information that is coming over. Now, this could be wrong. Obviously, it's a rumor at this point. NateDrake is saying that he's heard about it. Looks like it's going to happen, but he seems pretty confident based on what he's saying. He said it's going to happen. Not that I've heard or maybe or it's in the works or they're talking about it, but it's going to happen, and Square is just waiting. There's just something that's happening. They're waiting to announce it. So that tells me that he has pretty ironclad information that Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox. So that is absolutely a good thing if you're a Final Fantasy 16 fan and want to be able to play that on the Nintendo Switch too. You know that, hey, there's a possibility or a chance that it's going to be outside of the PlayStation ecosystem, which once again lines up with what Square Enix was talking about in their company restructure and aggressively pursuing multi-platform. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy 16. I did put, I think, 20, 30 hours plus into the PlayStation 5 version of the game, and I did tell my live stream the other day that I would check out the PC release of the game and give it another shot. So I'll definitely try it out again and see what they're doing. They're going to have a lot of updates to it. I think that the PC release will probably let you play the harder difficulty from the beginning, and of course it's going to be able to run better and look better and all that good stuff. The game already looks pretty good and everything, but there were some issues here and there with the PS5 release. But I'll definitely try it out again and see what I think on the PC version of the game, and we'll see how it turns out on the Xbox. So what do you guys think about this and the potential for Final Fantasy 16 to be on systems outside of PlayStation 5 based off of what NateDrake has to say here, and Xbox in particular? But I think, hey, if it's coming to Xbox, I do feel that there might be something down the line for the Nintendo Switch too. Let me know in the comment section. But we are going to move on to more potential games for the Nintendo Switch successor here, because Ubisoft seems to be bringing quite a number of them based off of a new rumor. So according to this rumor, Ubisoft has a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 titles lined up for Nintendo and the fans out there. Now, according to N Weedle and Necro Felipe, two guys that have gotten some stuff right here and there with the Nintendo Switch successor, sometimes, or Nintendo Switch when it comes to directing things like that. They're somewhat prominent leakers in the community, and they have both said that the Switch successor will see ports of Assassin's Creed Shadows, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, in addition to Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, that is a lot of Assassin's Creed, and I'm very skeptical to think, man, Ubisoft is going to port over all of those Assassin's Creed games to the Nintendo Switch. And I know that they had like a cloud version of one of them at some point in Japan or something like that. I'll have it up for you guys if I can find it or remember which one it is. But one thing to note with this, Ubisoft has always been a big supporter of Nintendo platforms, especially at the beginning. And if things go well, if the system sells well, they continue to support it. We saw that with the Nintendo Wii. We've seen it all the way back for a while now when it comes to Nintendo systems, but specifically talking about their HD systems, even with the Wii U, they were a believer in that system and tried to get it going with games. They put out Watch Dogs, and they put out Zombie U, they put out Assassin's Creed. They actually had a number of games for the Wii U. It was just unfortunate that the system sold terribly, so they kind of had to say, all right, man, we can't really continue investing into this system when it doesn't really have much of a future. But with the Nintendo Switch, they put out a bunch of Assassin's Creed games on there. There was a lot of older ports of Assassin's Creed games, the collection, the Ezio trilogy. They had Assassin's Creed 4, they have 3, they have all sorts of Assassin's Creed games, and they got those on there in a fairly decent amount of time. So I absolutely think that this is very possible that they're porting over all of these old games to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, it's interesting because they did state that the port of Assassin's Creed Shadows will see a release within the launch window of the Switch successor. So it looks like they're already rolling on this and want to have it out sometime within the first 6 months of the platform's arrival, and the other Assassin's Creed dates maybe are just up in the air overall, which would kind of mirror what we saw with Assassin's Creed 3. I know they wanted to have that game out. I think they had it out right there at launch or near it, and then of course Assassin's Creed 4 and other games for the Wii U back in the day. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan, guys. I'm not out here saying, oh my god, Assassin's Creed is incredible. I know people love the games, and that's why these games keep on being made. They sell very well, and there are many Nintendo Assassin's Creed fans out there. It's just not for me, but I do feel that it's interesting because we are starting to hear about a number of third-party developers that are going in on this system, and it definitely backs up with what Eurogamer is now saying, backing up Christopher Drink from Game Industry, that third-party developers are saying, hey, look, they're working on games, but we're not going to see it any earlier than, let's say, April or so of 2025. So basically what I mean with that is that third-party developers absolutely have the kits. They know what it is. They have an idea, right? They're making games. So this information that's starting to come out definitely seems like it's more accurate than maybe not accurate. It's not anything crazy, and that's why I'm sharing these rumors here, unlike some of the stuff that was happening last year and earlier this year. That was just wild speculation by people. Now that we know for sure developers are really in the thick of it when it comes to the games, because it's starting to trickle down now to multiple different places with what's happening with the development atmosphere. Absolutely, I feel that some of this stuff could be happening. So we'll see if there's something that's going on here. There is also some rumblings of a Skull and Bones Switch port as well. So we'll see if Skull and Bones happens. But I mean, that game is kind of like whatever. Overall, I'm not sure how much Nintendo fans are going to be over that one. But of course, we'll keep up with this and we'll see what happens in the future. So would you like to see multiple Assassin's Creed games and Ubisoft titles hit the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section. I would love for them to bring that Mario plus Rabbids and Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope double pack in 1080p 60 or whatever, higher resolution, 60 frames per second, all the DLC included, all on one cartridge, no updates, boom, drop that on the Nintendo Switch 2. Oh man, you're gonna have yourself some pretty good sales. So I think I would be super excited for that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Now let's move on to the next topic here, guys. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. What is going on here? So when is the release date? Because this is still 2024. This is a awesome collection that was revealed at the Nintendo Direct, and it was super cool to see. So in this collection, you get X-Men, Children of Adam, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, and The Punisher, all with rollback netcode and online play. No crossplay. Very unfortunate, because this game is the type of game that needs crossplay, considering there's so many titles in here, but it is what it is. Now, here's the thing though. We got a little bit of an update on this, because apparently November 22nd, 2024 is the release date for this game. It's not officially confirmed for this to be happening, but it seems like retailers are sharing this, the same date. Now, if you go over to Wario64, Shop 2 has it on November 22nd. You can already pre-order the game, so the release date is definitely known by some people out there within Capcom. They know, they just haven't announced it yet, but it seems like November 22nd could be the day for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. And I think that would be awesome. That would be a great day for it, I guess. I'm not sure what else comes out in November. For me, my huge, massive game that I gotta play comes out October with Metaphor Refantasio, and I have Mario and Luigi Brothership in November, like early November. So if it comes out November 22nd for this game, I think that would be fine. But once again, that's just a retailer listing for that. We don't know if that's actually the date. We got to wait and see. I'm pretty sure Capcom is holding on to it because they don't know if they're going to need to adjust. There might be something else that gets announced, or there's something that they don't want it to release on that day. They want to move it around strategically to sell better. Absolutely, you want to have that flexibility to do that. So I can definitely see Capcom holding on just a bit more, finding out what some other games are releasing around in November, because remember, it is a battlefield in the month of November. So you have to be very careful when you're releasing certain games. So I see them holding on just a bit more, and then maybe they will give us an official release date very soon. So what do you guys think about that? You can let me know in the comment section. Now, moving on to the next topic, we are going to discuss a big rumor about a big Xbox game that's coming over to is that there's absolutely going to be some type of announcement for a big Xbox game coming over to PlayStation next week. That seems to be the consensus among a lot of these insiders and people potentially with information, that we're going to see a big Xbox game come over to PlayStation. Now, who knows what that game is going to be? At this point, is it going to be Halo? Is it going to be Forza? Is it going to be Gears of War? I mean, it could be any one of these based off of it, but it seems like it could be Forza. It seems like it could be something else. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to be happening here. And it's a big Xbox game. It's not something like Grounded. It's something that's actually like a big or more core type of game. Maybe it's Killer Instinct. I mean, that could be a game that they say, hey, look, this game pretty much has been dead for a while. Overall, no updates and all that. Might as well bring that over to the PlayStation platform and see if people want to play it on there, right? So, I mean, there's definitely a variety of different things that it could be at this point. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens here. So what do you guys think overall about a big Xbox game coming over to PlayStation? What would you like to see? Of course, you can let me know about that. And of course, what do you think about everything else that we talked about here with the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, the Xbox with Final Fantasy 16, what's going on with Marvel vs. Capcom, the collection? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell as well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.